Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to call this regularly scheduled August 12th meeting to order. Commissioner Mazon should be walking in any minute, and so should Commissioner Coleman. They're just running a couple minutes behind. We're going to go ahead and get the meeting started promptly, though, and we'll begin with an approval of the agenda as it was published.
So moved.
I have a motion from Commissioner Bard, second from Commissioner Clark. Any comments, questions on the motion on the floor from the dais?
None.
Public comments, questions on the motion on the floor? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
That's 3 votes aye, with Commissioner Coleman and Commissioner Mazon absent. If you would please rise for the invocation, which will be delivered to us by Citizen Barton, and we'll say the Pledge of Allegiance right after, so remain standing. Mr. Barton, thank you for being here tonight.
Let us bow our heads. Lord, thank you. We are humbled by you every day. I ask for your favor over this meeting. You have brought us together at this appointed time to shepherd the city. And may we channel your guidance. May we make decisions favorable to our future. Let us look forward in measured progress. Give us courage, wisdom, and grace. Shall we have differences, may they be short-lived, while our commitment be long-lived. We ask your blessing over the students, teachers, and administrators entering this new season. Bless the parents, bless the members of our community and beyond who may be suffering from the storm. We ask this in Jesus' mighty name. Amen. To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Good job. We knew you'd get here just in time, right? All right. Thank you for that invocation, Mr. Martin. We are going to go ahead and ask Miss Greta Moreau. Did I say it right? Moreau. Come on down and introduce yourself to us. Thank you for coming out tonight. We know you've had a long day already, but we appreciate it.
Hi, Mayor, Commissioners. Thank you for inviting me this evening. My name is Greta Moreau, and I'm your new code officer for here in the city. So I just want to thank you. I've been here since May 20th, and it's been great.
Wonderful. Well, we love to hear that. I think that from the commission standpoint, we would love your focus to be on some of the more high-profile things in town. It's difficult for the commission when we get a resident calling us about, there's a basketball court in the road, and why are we harassing me when the BP station looks the way it does, or
right.
Some of the things that are right on, So that's kind of our policy agenda. If I'm sure that's already been communicated to you as well, but commission, anybody?
I just say welcome aboard.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
You're right. You got a lot to do. I know you hit the ground running.
It's been busy.
And you've come from the county?
Common sense.
A lot of experience with the county, is that right?
Yes, sir. I did 25 years with the city of Gainesville, retired in 2022. And so I did 19.5 with Gainesville Police Department and then moved over to the Code Enforcement Division. And then I went to the county for 2 years in codes. And I'm thrilled to be here.
And we have family that knows each other.
Yes, sir.
I've already been told somewhere along that line.
Yes, sir.
With your daddy and.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
It's kind of
Yes.
hard in Newberry for that not to be the case,
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I grew up.
It's a good town, common sense.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Right out here.
Yes, sir. I'm from Newberry. I didn't necessarily go to Newberry. Don't hold that against me. I was right on the cusp of Santa Fe, and I went to Santa Fe. Michelle and I.
We're going to have to hold that against you now.
I know. I'm sorry, but I was. But yeah, I was right on the line. So I've been able to grow up, and my children grew up, and my grandchildren are now growing in this community. So it's my love. And I'm just thrilled to be here. And yes, it's been busy. But to answer your question, Mayor, I think the first thing that I did coming in on board was I did talk to Mike and asked to have biweekly meetings with him. So I have biweekly meetings with Mike, Jamie, and Dallas. Sorry, Dallas.
It's coming. It's late,
He's eyeballing me in the back. I can feel it. But, and it's worked out really great. So I know exactly, been able to get a little feel of what's been going on in town and where my, what I should be looking at. And And so far, I think I've been meeting some interesting folks and getting to know everybody. So, so far, I think it's been great.
Well, we appreciate it. Nobody envies your job because nobody likes to see the code enforcement person coming, and we all get that. We understand it, and we all are going to have your back because I think the town, there's always a tension with code enforcement.
Right.
We want things to be cleaned up, but there's got to be that common sense approach, giving people a chance, those kinds of things. So thank you for coming on board.
Yep, thank
we
you.
appreciate it. Thank you for staying late to
Absolutely.
come and introduce yourself
Anytime.
tonight. Any other comments, questions?
Welcome aboard.
Thank
you so much.
Nice meeting everybody.
All right.
First thing that Greta said at our first hearing together was, hearing officer, we're looking for compliance. And that was, I thought, you're off to a good start with that. That was where her emphasis was.
We always want to just get people into compliance. That's it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, work with it.
All
All right, thank you so much. Okay, that's the only presentation we have, so I'm going to move to public announcements. Your commission likes to hear from you frequently enough, so they set aside this time. If you got something you want to talk to the commission about that's not on the agenda, you can line up, and you got 2 minutes. If you have something that's a little more controversial, there's another public comment at the end of the night where you have 5 minutes. So if you have something you just want to announce right now, come on down. Come on, sir. Good to see you again. It's been a little bit.
Thank you. Good to see you all. Paul Hornby, Mayor, Commissioners. Just real quick, tomorrow at 6:30 at the IFA Center here in town, the county is holding a listening session for people interested to come out and talk about the West End, the old West End golf course. So I know it's kind of late notice for maybe getting any student golfers there, but if that's at all possible tomorrow to maybe get the word out, it would be great to have.
6:30? I know I
6:30.
saw the flyer, but
Yeah.
just 6:30.
I mean, the county's done pretty good in getting the word out. It's also been out on Facebook, Nextdoor, and all that. I think there's going to be a pretty good turnout.
Friends of West End going to show up?
Yes, sir.
All right.
And We Care. So I'm the president of We Care, the West End Community Alliance for Recreation and Education. So we've been pushing hard to save that property for recreation for about 4 years now. So it's not that the county is going to build a golf course, but they're willing to partner with people to come in and do that work with a long-term, low-cost lease. But the more they hear that driving ranges, of interest, a practice area, the schools used it for their home track, let's revitalize that. Maybe 9 holes, a community center, dog park, stuff like that. A swimming complex is also, we
Yeah,
hear
the
that a
swimming
lot. There's a lot of Florida Gator swimmers and coaches that live in Tioga that are really interested in doing something like that. So the more the county hears about these, I think as private entities come forward to maybe contract with them, they'll keep that in mind that, hey, we heard from a bunch of people and this is what they want. So it's a great opportunity. So, if we get some student athletes out there, that'd be
I'll
great.
do my best.
All right. Thank you. Appreciate
Thank
it.
you. Appreciate it. Other public comment? Seeing none, I'm going to move to the consent agenda. I have a motion to approve the consent agenda as it was published. I have a motion from Commissioner Clark, second from Commissioner Martin. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. That will move us to that's a long consent agenda. Item 8, solid waste MSBU ordinance 2024-18. Mr. Attorney, would you please read on first reading ordinance 2024-18 into the record for us?
Happy to do so, Mr. Mayor. This is ordinance number 2024-18, an ordinance amending ordinance 2023-25, providing consent for the entire corporate limits of the city of Newberry, Florida, to be included in a non-ad valorem assessment for municipal service benefit created by Alachua County for the provision of solid waste management costs, providing for conditions for the consent, providing that the consent is only for 1 year, providing an immediate effective date. The appropriate motion is to pass ordinance number 2024-18 upon its reading by title only.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Dallas, you going to introduce Mr. Irby for us?
Yes,
Or
sir,
you got a
Mr.
little
Mayor.
presentation
I
first?
got a short blurb,
All right.
and then I'll turn it over to Patrick if you guys desire. Mr. Mayor, this is the annual hearing for the non-ad valorem MSBU created by the county to fund solid waste management costs throughout the county. This is an annual ordinance that the commission adopts. There is no increase in the rates proposed by the county this year. So the annual rate for a single-family resident is $25.27. Again, that's annual, and that will be assessed on residents' tax bills should the commission adopt this ordinance. I'm happy to answer any question. We also have Patrick Irby with the county here, who can give you the slideshow if you'd like, or answer any other questions.
Would the commission like to see the slideshow? It's kind of old hat for most of you at this point, so, no? Okay, now, we're down one commissioner right now. So if there's anyone else, I know Commissioner Martin has long been opposed to this. He may have changed his mind, but I don't think so. If he's won over anyone's argument, anyone to that argument, though, I just want to remind you that if we don't join this, then we have to renegotiate our contract with Waste Pro because our contract kind of ties into that, and there's some direct costs to our residents. So if there's a chance that we may stall this out, I think we should table it. I think we should table it until we have, yeah, we can table it until we have a full board, because I'm not sure how late Commissioner Coleman is going to be. But if that's not the case, we'll just move on forward.
Move to approve. Second.
Okay, I have a motion to approve from Commissioner Farnsworth, a second from Commissioner Clark. Any comments or questions? Dallas?
I have a question. Mr. Mayor, just for discussion purposes, the city of Newberry is the only city that adopts this annually. There are provisions that would allow you to either give consent ongoing or consent with a cap. So say you wanted to approve the ordinance, and if it ever goes more than 10% of, it has to come back to the commission. Just want to point that out for the commission's consideration. If you don't want to hear this item year after year, there is the ability for you guys to grant consent with some sort of a cap or leverage mechanism to grant back. It's just, this is
I mean,
a lot of work for this ordinance.
I hear what Dallas is saying, but since we
give it
do
to
have
the
a
commission as an
commissioner
option.
who is on principle opposed to this, I think he has the right every year to at least
Yeah.
articulate those objections. So I had a motion from Commissioner Farnsworth, a second from Commissioner Clark. Comments from the dais? No? No. All right. Question, comments from the public on the motion on the floor? Seeing none, all those in favor, I'm sorry, roll call. So it said all that. Roll call, Commissioner Clark, Commissioner Farnsworth, Commissioner Martin, Commissioner Bezon. Motion passed 3-1 with Commissioner Martin in dissent. Commissioner Coleman still absent. That will move us to agenda item number 9, Florida Department State of Division of Historical Resources, Agreement for Rehabilitation Historical Power Plants. Go ahead, Dallas, you're busy tonight.
I'm back. All the items are mine. Mr. Mayor, tonight we have an exciting agreement before you. This is an agreement with the Division of Historic Resources for the grant that the city received to rehabilitate the historic power plant that's located across the street from Lois Fort Park at our Public Works compound. The grant is for just shy of $350,000, which we are matching with $350,000 out of your infrastructure surtax. Renovations will include, as Jamie likes to call it, the shell of the building, but it'll include replacing windows, doors, fixing masonry, fixing electrical systems, plumbing, and the installation of ADA parking, ramps, sidewalks, and a bathroom.
Now, we redid the roof on that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. The roof has been recently replaced. So we're asking for the commission to authorize the city manager or his designee to execute the grant agreements and any other documents. And while I've got your attention, I'll just introduce you very briefly to Jane Sullivan, who's a Newberry resident and also our grants manager, who will be shepherding this
Dallas,
project.
can you clarify, because the commission put this money aside for this grant a couple of years ago, right? So it's kind of been sitting there? Is that right?
You budget it in this current fiscal year.
But we budgeted, it's been in the budget, but we think we're actually going to get the grant and expend the money this year?
The item before you is the agreement with the state to get the money to
Okay.
move forward.
And
So we have gotten the grant.
we've
We
got
just
the
signed-
grant.
We got to sign the
Okay,
agreement.
that's my, okay, there's it. All right, so good deal.
Yep.
Okay, questions? Commissioner Martin?
Dallas, how much are we anticipated being able to do to the building with the total of 700,000? 80%, 90%?
We are going to be able to basically drive the building in. There's not going to be renovations on the inside and, in order to make it look like a nice building. It's
Well,
essentially going to harden
yeah.
the building so that there's no more broken windows, no more broken doors, and then someone can come in and.
The larger plan, though, is to try to put out that RFP, then use this money to partner with the private industry who will come in, because pretty much everybody that looks at that building knows we're talking about $1.5, $2 million to do what has to be done. So this grant money partnered with somebody, if we don't get that partner, then that's what's going to happen. But hopefully the RFP, the grant, everything will kind of come together at one time, and we say, look, we can dry it in, we can do all these kinds of things, we just need somebody to bring the other 1.2 million to the table. But that also brings the numbers down for most private businesses, because what's prevented us from moving forward with the RFP is that everybody looks at that building and says, hey, it's great that you're going to let me have this thing for $1, but I got to spend $2 billion on it to bring it back to life.
Yeah.
So those numbers are hard to work,
Sure.
Other questions?
We just need a
Motion for the recommended action.
The infrastructure surtax comes out of what pot? Straight down the line from our,
So the wild spaces, public places is split into two halves. One half is for parks and recreation, and one half is for infrastructure. So our match is coming out of the infrastructure side.
wild spaces on the.
Yes, sir. The non-park side.
Right. That's made it very confusing, because I get a lot of requests from people saying, well, can you spend Wild Spaces money on that?
Yeah.
Well, it's Wild Spaces half, infrastructure half, so you got to make sure you're delineating.
part of the sales tax.
So do I have a motion?
Okay, I'm done.
Yeah.
Need a motion to authorize?
Yeah, he was waiting on a motion.
Motion for the recommended action for the city manager. I have a motion from Commissioner Martin to authorize the city manager or designate to execute the grant agreement, seconded by Commissioner Maison. Comments, questions from the dais on the motion on the floor? Public comments or questions on the motion on the floor? Seeing none before Commissioner Coleman gets here, all those in favor? Aye. Aye, motion passed 4-1 with Commissioner Coleman absent, and Commissioner Coleman is here now for the next item. All right, welcome Commissioner Coleman. We are on item 10, resolution declaring a local state of emergency due to the threat of Hurricane Debbie. Dallas, take it away.
Would you like the attorney?
Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Attorney, would you go ahead and read resolution 2024-34 into the record? I think he's scrolling through.
I can probably do my
Do your bit.
Do my
and then
bit while he's
we'll,
looking for it.
Don't ever forget, though.
Mr. Mayor, as the commission is aware, a week ago today, Hurricane Debbie made landfall as a Category 1 hurricane in the state of Florida. At that time, the city manager did administratively order a state of emergency for the city. So this resolution before you tonight retroactively approves that state of emergency and authorizes the actions that we took underneath Florida statute, as well as helping us if we need to apply for FEMA reimbursements.
All right. Any luck?
I'm
No.
almost there.
Huh? That was a big gem. Any questions while we're scrolling?
There it is.
Oh, we got it. Look at that.
Mr.
timing.
Mayor, this is a resolution of the City Commission of the City of Newberry, Florida, declaring a local state of emergency for the City of Newberry pursuant to Section 252.38, subparagraph 2 of the Florida statutes due to the threat of Hurricane Debbie, providing for a waiver of the procedures and formalities, delegating authority, and providing an effective date. The appropriate motion is to pass Resolution 2024-34 as read by title only.
Thank you, sir. I got a motion from Commissioner Farnsworth, second from Commissioner Martin. Any comments, questions on the motion on the floor from the dais? Public comments or questions on the motion on the floor? Seeing none, all those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Motion passes unanimously. And that leads us to comments. Mr. Assistant City Manager.
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor, just a couple of comments. Last week, we had the One Blood blood drive here in the city. They determined success as 12 people attempting to donate. We had 21 people attempting to donate. So they were very pleased with our donations here in the city of Newberry, and they plan to come back every 2 months. As a reminder to the commission and the public, next Tuesday is Election Day, so there may be traffic around the municipal building with the election occurring. I want to remind the commission that on the August 28th, we will have the groundbreaking ceremony at 4 o'clock in the parking lot in the back underneath oak trees. And then following that, at 6:30, we'll have our final budget workshop. At that workshop, we do have Mark Mustian from Neighbors Giblin, as well as Jeremy, whose last name I can't remember, from our financial advisor, will be here to present to the commission on general obligation bonds for the Southwest 46th project, to give the commission more information on how that process works. The P&Z board meeting, which was scheduled for last Monday, was canceled and postponed to August 27th. We have 2 SRF hearings on the 14th, on Wednesday, which will give us our final funding numbers from SRF for both the elevated storage tank and the wastewater treatment plant. We did hear back from SRF that we don't anticipate any loan forgiveness for elevated storage tank, but we're still hopeful for a large loan forgiveness on the wastewater treatment plant. And then last but not least, just a reminder to our residents that we're continuing to pick up vegetative debris from the right-of-ways and addressing sinkholes and down trees throughout the community. So please have patience with us and call us if you see anything we need to address. That concludes my comments, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Attorney?
No comment, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Madam Clerk?
Just want to say happy birthday early.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much. I'm going to be turning 26. Yeah. Yeah, it's like the 20th time in a row. Yeah. Thank you, ma'am. I appreciate that. Commissioner Coleman?
Kind of wanting to get an update on the roads, the vote that we're going to have on all the roads.
I think that will be part of the
Dallas probably knows.
workshop. You got an update on that? I thought it was going to be another conversation at an upcoming.
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor. At the last budget hearing, budget workshop on the 28th, we'll have those two gentlemen from our financial advisor and our bond counsel here to discuss that, to give the commissions more updates on how that process works. I know that Jamie is working on a presentation for the commission on all the roads that you had requested. We originally anticipated bringing that presentation tonight, but we felt that the city manager should be here. So it is in process. We're trying to narrow down what roads best fit.
Mr. Clark?
Yeah, so I got a couple things, Mr. Mayor. Number one, had a good meeting today with the group, the construction managers for the Veterans Memorial Project. We're going to push the November 11th grand opening based on some contractual getting granite and stuff in here on the supply chain.
Okay.
So we do have some constraints. We're going to move it to, we have a guarantee that we can open Memorial Day of 2025.
That's awesome.
And so the brick campaign, we're going to get the sign back up. Dallas, I've talked to Jamie, so let's make sure we get the sign back up, get our permit done with DOT. And the brick campaign has come along, but we need more people as veterans, that if you do know about it out there, tell any veteran to buy a brick to go inside this Veterans Memorial. And I see a gentleman sitting right there. I want to say thank you for your service, sitting right there. And but other than that, God bless America.
Thank you, sir. Commissioner Farnsworth? Commissioner Martin? Commissioner Mazon? Yeah.
So all bricks on all, like, areas? Or
And there's like a
Bricks
wall.
will be inlaid.
Yeah.
The bricks will
But
be
there were like
inlaid.
different price ranges, are there still?
There are,
Okay,
50 and
good.
100.
Yeah.
You don't have to
And
be-
they're different sizes.
You don't have to be a veteran to buy the bricks, right?
Yes, where you,
Oh, you do have.
yeah.
Not to buy it, but
You can, right.
Could be-
But the name that's on it.
There.
Right,
Anybody
right.
can buy a brick
Okay,
for
that's
that.
what I was.
Yeah, anybody can buy a brick. It's just gotten, some of it's, people want company names and
Oh,
stuff
yeah.
like, it's not for them. It's for the veteran and the name, but anybody can buy a brick for a veteran.
Well, just as a reminder, because at the very first festival, it announced they were taking orders on paper, and something happened with that. So even if you signed up at that festival, it's good to now go to the website and redo it. So if you haven't paid and you haven't filled out anything, that means they haven't charged you, right? But that also means right now you're probably not getting a brick. So go to the website,
Yeah, go to the
confirm.
website. If you've paid or got with Miss Debbie Doe, I promise you she's happy.
Miss Debbie's on top of it. Yeah, she's got it.
Nice.
All right.
God bless America. So I just wanted to do an update. Anybody been watching the Olympics out there? I did. Miss Peggy, you did? We finished first. 40 goals, man. Yes, we
Olympics
came in
over?
first.
I've not been watching.
Came in first, China came in second, Japan actually jumped over Australia. Yeah. So we ended up with 40 golds, 44 silvers, 42 bronze, 126 total medals. China had 40 golds, 27 silvers, and 24 bronze and 91 medals total. So no one actually came close to us outside of China. Japan was 20, yeah, and then like their silver was 12, and then bronze was 13, and then they had a total of 45 medals. So go USA for the Olympics.
Go America.
Who dropped the baton? And which relay? I didn't watch that. That was. Well, yeah.
Dropped the
No.
baton. It's terrible. I had a relay team one time. We were at the state competition, And based on the time that we ran in the prelims, we would have been second in the state. First girl out of the blocks dropped the baton. Oh, man, it was devastating. Oh, talk about the tears. We were all crying. We all cried. So, yeah, it does haunt you. Is that it, Commissioner? All right, I just want to appreciate everybody for the first day of school, the patience, getting everybody in and out. We really do appreciate it. If you're going in or out of 15th, I'm not sure if we've got a new crossing guard. I didn't get any complaints today, so I think everything went well, but just communicate with us. If there's coaching that needs to be done, we'll make sure that happens. That does it for my comments. Citizen comments. This is the 5-minute time. You have something that's not on the agenda, that's a little more controversial, need a little more time. Step on up to the mic. Come on back. Oh, I'm sorry. I was going to ask this question because you were here. Dallas, do you have an update? Because Mr. Paul asked about the little pedestrian crossing in the middle of the road. Yeah, and we were going to look at that one, and that's been, but the look you're giving me says that you do not have that update. Right out here in front of, almost said backyard barbecue, 1906. Going way back. You got, yeah. And I followed up.
It seems to, Mr. Mayor, it seems to me that the city manager did email us about that.
All right.
And I think the long and short of it was DOT was giving them a little bit of pushback about it.
Right. I had an email after that, though, and said, let's push back. Right. Come on up to the microphone, because I'm sure everybody's interested
So then
in
he
this conversation.
put me in touch with the DOT person up in Lake City.
Paul Hornby. For the,
And he was very receptive, and he told me that that probably was not going to happen. And in fact, he has heard from his higher-ups that even with the pairs, what we're asking for with respect to crosswalk is over the top. His higher-up said that. So
the stanchion?
no, just
over the top?
No, just what's going to happen with the crosswalk and the initial plans
Right.
for the Twin Pairs thing is what they thought was too much. So I don't
Well, they've
think
already
it's gonna-
agreed to it.
I don't
so.
think anything's
The
going to.
stanchion, because what we've agreed to in the crosswalks is the bulbs that come out that are curbed and guttered that kind of narrow the vision, that help people, you kind of get out with a curb into people's line of vision. That's already been agreed to. So the stanchion was pushed back. I don't see the stanchion as over the top. I thought the main objection from FDOT was why would we go do any work when we're going to be there in a couple of years? For residents' minds, a couple of years is a long time, right? So there's always that tension. But in my experience, whenever you go up the ladder, the first answer is always no, right? It's just too easy to say no, right? So, but you just got to push back and keep being persistent. So that's what we'll do.
I appreciate it. And his point was, where's the data to show like there've been 100 people killed there to warrant something like that?
Yeah.
Well, of course there isn't, unless you sit there and watch people go
mean,
by as
all
people
of
are
that.
standing there like
Yeah.
trying to cross. But who has that data? So
Yeah.
anyway,
All right.
I
Didn't mean to
appreciate the
derail your
efforts.
comments, though. Go
No, I
ahead.
appreciate the effort. So this is kind of a P&Z issue, but this is really the only forum to kind of bring things, and you're kind of the bosses, so maybe we'll trickle down to them. But the Monday P&Z meeting, as was noted, was waylaid due to the storm. But there was an agenda item that I received notification on because I'm 400 feet from the Whittles mini storage location. So they're going to expand that facility. My question is about the timing of these notifications. I understand you have a 10-day requirement to post the information. I guess that's put in a paper somewhere. You also send this out to people within 400 feet. And it was mailed July 25th, which is 10 days out from the meeting. The problem is I got it Thursday, August 1st. The offices are closed on the 2nd, so I couldn't go down and see Jean-Paul and look at the documents, the supporting documents, which would have actually left me just Monday to try and find any information, any background information, which was the day of the meeting. I think we all know the mail is notoriously slow. And it's getting slower like every year. I know they're going through their own challenges with having to send their carriers into Gainesville to come back out. So I'm just wondering, for the sake of transparency, and if you really want people to get this information in a timely way to get information, form opinions, and come to these meetings and talk about it, if you couldn't take into account that delay with the mail and post them just a few days earlier than your technical 10 days. That's all. It just seems, or, not everybody gets the paper. Is there a way to post this on the city website with maybe a link to the supporting documents? John Paul was kind enough to, when I called, he did send me the PDF of the documents. But not everybody, has email, has access to the internet, gets the paper. So I think the more opportunities and venues there are to present this information would be very helpful.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
We appreciate that. Assistant manager will take that comment back to the city manager. And it seems like we had that conversation before. I can't quite remember it, but rehash it and bring it back up.
We'll bring that up with our new community development director. We are also in the process, state law just changed about a year ago, allowing us to publish these notifications on a website. So we
That
are
was what it
currently
was.
working with Alachua
Yeah.
County to be able to post these on a website in addition to.
Because the website had to be ADHD. We couldn't put it on the website.
Yeah,
It was
the law,
something weird.
the law requires we to put it on the county's
Right.
website.
Yeah.
We are working on making the notifications more prevalent.
All right, thank you. Yeah. Other public comment?
Hey, good morning. Yeah, good evening, morning. I'm lost. I think the veterans thing is an awesome thing. I just want to thank y'all for that. That is cool. I am here on behalf of Aaron Taylor. Ricky Coleman promised to ask some questions to the mayor, and I just want to kind of ask you if you're going to do that. And one more thing for me. Easton. I've been a volunteer, and my kids have played at Easton for over 10 years. And just recently, as of today, I was treated kind of very unprofessionally when they told me, oh, no, we don't need your services to volunteer coach 15 minutes before the meeting. I find that to be, very unprofessional. And I just wanted to say that and ask Ricky if he could ask those questions to Mr. Mayor for Aaron. Thank you.
Thank you. If you got, let's just follow up with East and find out, if there's, and you can put it in an email, Ms. Brandy, that way we have a paper trail, we can forward that on, that'd be good. I think we all saw the questions, and I looked through those questions, and I've actually answered all of those questions. I'm happy if the commissioner wants to ask any of them. I've answered, on some medium, I've answered them multiple times at this point, but,
Because of the day I've had, and let's delay it to the next meeting.
that's fine. Like I say, you can go back.
I'm not prepared,
Yeah.
and I was at that other meeting, but what was it? You were here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you
But
were gone.
after reviewing those questions, I have answered those questions on social media. I've answered most of those questions on this dais multiple times. And so, I think every resident has a right to ask questions, and every resident has a right to get a response. But when you just keep asking the same question in a different way, and I feel like sometimes not everybody in the conversation is listening to the response, we're not really engaged in a conversation at that point. We're just trying to, at some point it becomes more like harassment than an actual genuine question.
I will, I pledge to ask these questions in 2 weeks.
All right.
We'll just do that. 'cause
Sounds good.
I was prepared that night, I'm not now.
All right, other public comments? Hearing none? Sorry, ma'am. Everybody gets one time. Yeah. Yeah. Is it real quick and it's not gonna be react? All right, I'm gonna let you come up, break the rules one time. Come on down.
The stop sign on Northwest 4th Avenue, I think we need to, I brought it up here before, Mike, is it? I guess he's the manager. I did bring it up about there are significant issues with that area.
Could you add that into the email? And that way, because we've been in the email, put all those concerns, that way we can track it and know exactly what you're talking about, and we can address it that way.
All right, and I
All
just
right.
wanted to be on record too, I didn't hear all the answers to those questions, so I would appreciate when you're ready, conveniently after the 21st, to ask those. Thank you.
All right, other public comments? Hearing none, we are adjourned.